Do you hear the bells ringing? If you do, you're hearing things because markets never announce themselves. What's up, everybody? Welcome aboard. It is Bubba's Bottom Line for Sunday, June the 27th. And Jesus, the year is just flying by as we continue to grind markets. It's a challenge. That goes without saying. But in the meantime, they are what they are, and I think that's what we have to remember is that they don't announce themselves. There is no bell to tell you that the top is in or the bottom is in. All you can do is watch the price action and go through it. And, of course, we'll get that in our market update in the second part of the show. In the meantime, the first part of the show is brought to you by our friends at Family Farms. And, of course, Family Farms is a great partner who has the same interest in helping farmers as we do, which is to just help them hedge, manage their money, and make sure that they don't get carried away and they can do what they do best, which is farming. Okay, and they've got a great event coming up in July, which I'm really looking forward to. In the meantime, again, we've got obviously all kinds of issues out here right now, and I would suggest that our social order is unraveling. And, I think that this is being created by the current administration. I think this is done more intentionally to create a lot of divisiveness and a lot of hatred. Again, I don't see, the issues that they're bringing to us. But I think that you can see in the back room, they continue to drive this all forward. And I think that is more the problem, okay? And I think this is more a creation. Listen, we know we have problems, okay? But I believe that they're bringing more to the party and actually fanning the flames to get us to fold. And I think this all goes into the socialist agenda, okay? And again, if you do not understand what's going on, just remember this, okay? The average investor, the average trader is benefiting in certain areas within the current structure and the current market environments between the stimulus and the cheap money and all the garbage that's going on. But I will tell you that this is a perfect storm to become even more of a socialist environment because the upper 1% is capitalizing at record rates. Okay, you've got Bill Gates accumulating all the farmland. You have got BlackRock that is not only gobbling up small private companies, but also housing in other places, which again gives them all the money and all the power and continues to relieve us because, of course, at the end of the day, who is going to pay for all this ridiculous stimulus, okay, that people are not working for right now because they'd rather stay home because they're getting more money, not from the government, but from you and me. So to me, I think there are some very, very big problems here. And if you've listened to me for any length of time, okay, from the Bubba radio show through these updates, we have nailed pretty much some of the things that were going to happen well before they do. And I believe that you've got a major problem coming here unless there is a resolution and they quit with the stimulus and they force people to go back to work. Okay, sitting home, drinking beer, smoking crack, watching TV is not the idea of what a society is. And of course, as we said last week, this is the perfect environment for the very wealthy people that would prefer socialism to keep their money and have the power and not allow the others to have the same opportunities that they were afforded in the capitalistic society. Okay. But of course, our great economist once again missed the boat, okay, on spending. I mean, again, was this hard to predict? I don't know. I don't know what good an economist is, okay, because they're basing stuff on past events Okay, and they tell us later that we were in a bubble, or later that we went through a recession. Why can't you tell me ahead of time? It was obvious that they were wrong. Okay, it's obvious that the Fed is wrong once again. There's no question that they are clueless. Okay, there is no question that they are using models that are probably 100 years old, if not more. Okay, because they don't account for anything. Okay, inflation is at about a 30-year high. Now, you can tell me all day long that you don't have inflation, but just tell me what your bills are today versus what they were 6 months ago, 8 months ago, a year ago. I assure you, you're paying a hell of a lot more for everything. And of course, the unfortunate part, it's one thing if just gasoline is going higher, okay? But it's another thing when the retailers start raising prices, which they have to. They're going to, because their costs their input costs are getting much higher, and they ain't coming down. At least gas stations, they come down. They may not come down far enough, but they do come down. Once they mark the prices up, they never bring them back down again. So again, look, beneath this calm surface of a market that goes up all the time, I would suggest there are some very, very major problems brewing. Okay. And I think that, look, I happen to believe that you will see another revolutionary or civil war in this country, because I think you cannot keep creating and taking away from people. And I think, you may feel like they're giving you something for nothing, which they're not, and they're actually taking away. And more importantly, they're taking away a lot of your freedoms at the same time. So again, look, you can look at it however way you want, but to me, what I'm saying is factual, okay? And it's not a maybe. You can see it, you can feel it, you can watch it all the time. Just know that the Biden campaign, the Biden camp pressured Facebook to knock Trump off. Okay. Now, again, look, that was probably not a hard push, right? Because I'm sure, it's a more leftist platform to begin with. So that's not a surprise. It wasn't a hard push. But the very fact that we allow it to happen, the very fact that we saw the election results as they were. Now, again, I'm not going to get into that the election was stolen or whatever. Look, but I can tell you that from a math standpoint, okay, just from a mathematical standpoint, the number of House seats that were won by the Republicans should have easily pushed a re-election of President Trump. Okay, now again, it didn't happen, and I'm not going to get into the whole, all the other stuff that went on through this. Excuse me. But again, if you just look at it from a pure math model, the whole results don't make sense. Okay, but what is the Fed going to do with their taper talk? Now, again, they're already talking, well, maybe this inflation is temporary. Maybe it's only for 3 or 4 years. Do you realize how much money you would blow in 3 or 4 years? And do you really believe that we are not in the potential of either hyperinflation or stagflation? Okay. Now, how is that going to happen? Well, because so many people are sitting home on our ass doing nothing, just taking the check. Okay. And because we are allowing in illegal immigrants at record numbers, you don't think that those people will fill the jobs that the people that are staying at home don't want right now because they're getting more to stay home? You don't think that some of those coming up from Mexico would not be happy to have a job paying what they're going to pay? Right. So, you can look at it again. Anyway, you can look at it with rose-colored glasses, or you can look at facts. Facts is back in the day when I grew up, every busboy, dishwasher, laborer was illegal, and they got paid. Most of them got paid in cash. Okay, and then we started to cut away from there, and it looks like we're going to head right back down the same path, because the employers, the restaurants, and the places, they need workers, and they will take anybody right now. And because people don't want to work, okay, they're going to get replaced. And once they get replaced, there's not going to be jobs for them. And when there's not jobs for them, you could end up in a stagflation period. We could end up right back where we were in the Jimmy Carter years, because interest rates are going to have to go up. I don't care what the Fed says. They're full of crap. They cannot hold them down forever. The markets themselves will take over. Okay. So, you look at this, and of course you watch what is happening, and look at how concerned the Fed and China are with the cryptocurrency. Okay. Now, supposedly China is locking out and shutting down those who use the power to mine for Bitcoin and things like that. And supposedly there's rumor that the U.S. and China have made a deal to try to destroy the crypto. I would call BS on that. I would never trust the Chinese, okay, because they always have an angle and they have a plan. And because they want to be in our spot and be the world power, I don't believe they would make any such a deal. Now, again, I could be wrong. That I could be wrong. That is a guess. But I don't see China making any such deal. In fact, I would bet you a lot of money that they've been mining on their own forever, because all the chips we buy for the specialty mining, okay, come from China. Do you think you get the best chips? Or do you think they hold their best for themselves and give you a secondary type of chip that is similar? Okay, so it's the crypto world is real. Okay, it is the currency, and I think it will continue to grow, of the libertarian. Obviously, there's too many of them, and we will start to see, I suspect, many fall by the wayside. But we will end up with a few that are real. And listen, Coinbase and companies like that, they're not putting all their money into this if they don't believe that they're going to be real and that they're going to be here. So, look, at the end of the day, I think you're going to see this happen. And of course, Microsoft had a cyber attack now, okay, from the same people that brought you the pipeline attack. And again, I go back to the same question, and this ties with this issue. Okay, engineers were told that the structure in the condos in Miami that just collapsed, and my condolences go out to all those people, but that the building had a good chance of collapsing. Okay, and this is the same thing they were told about New Orleans. The Army Corps of Engineers said that the levees needed to be replaced. Okay, so why is it that we are always chasing our ass after the fact when these things should be done ahead of time? Okay, should we fix the problems before? I mean, should we have more stimulus, or we should take that money and protect against cyber attacks? Right? I mean, so again, to me, we're backwards. Okay, and we're always trying to put a Band-Aid on a wound that needs a tourniquet. Okay, and I think that becomes the bigger deal. Okay, and as we look throughout history, okay, there are many things that could be well prevented. Okay, but of course, everywhere the money is always going somewhere else, because government, and I don't care which party you support for this, doesn't give a crap about us. They just care about how much money they can scop up and how they can continue to be reelected, because, of course, there is so much underneath the table money in the political system that they will continue to do so. And again, we are the fortunate ones that get to pay for it. And that goes for the Federal Reserve, which is a willing participant, okay, in screwing America, okay, and screwing life as we know it. And of course, that goes to the fiat currency system, which is garbage. Okay, look, these things are all done for a reason, and none of the reasons are ever for you or me. Okay, that's the issue that I find with it. And of course, Biden had to be reminded to send out his thoughts to those in the collapse. He didn't remember it in his press conference. Harris had to whisper his ear. And what the hell is wrong with Kamala Harris? Why is it such a big deal to go down to the border? Okay, this is the issue. Okay, but of course we know that if they let them in, then they could turn into voters, because of course they're trying to get, the current administration is trying to change everything from the Constitution. And in other words, they're trying to rewrite the Constitution, eliminating history, eliminating everything that we know. And we know one thing, Okay. If we fail to learn from history, we are doomed to repeat it. This is Bubba's Bottom Line. It is Sunday, June the 27th, and we're going to step out of here for a break, and we'll be back with more in our market update right after the break. So, kids, look, we talk about commodities a lot, and of course, Andy Hecht, who has been in this industry for 40-some years, been on the commercial side, been on the retail side, and has traded commodities worldwide, not only the futures that we all know, but also in physical, and have traveled to places that he had to go with security guards to make deals. Okay. And, he writes by far the most dynamic report that you could possibly see, okay, on commodities, from metals to grains to everything else. And it's called Technometal. If you're in the commodity space and you are not reading this, you are making a very huge mistake. You can get it at BUBBATrading.com. Technometal it's called. And of course, we always talk about our brokerage partners. Now, look, I've got many brokers. Okay. These are not the only two brokers that I have, but these are the two brokers that I prefer for my members because of the benefits that they offer. And of course, for futures and commodities, it's the CTG group or Capital Trading Group. And why? Well, because first of all, they do a terrific job. They execute on time. There's never an issue. Okay, they call the member if there's a question or if they need to talk to them. You can always get through on the phone. They've got wonderful customer service. They've got great managed futures products. So we've authorized them as our only letter of direction provider for futures and commodities. Now, you don't have to use them. You can just trade on your own. Okay, you can get the signals. It's just up to you. But in the meantime, if you want more information on Capital Trading Group, just go to info.capitaltradinggroup.com/Bubba. That's info.capitaltradinggroup.com/Bubba. And of course, our other brokerage partner, which is Tradier for equities and options. Look, $10 a month. I shouldn't have to say any more than that. Okay. I personally save about 5 figures a month on brokerage commission at 65 cents a contract. It should give you an idea of the quantity that I trade. But in the meantime, why would you want to pay more than that? Okay, that just doesn't make any sense. Why would you want to put the money in your own pocket? And also, okay, we do have their APIs, which allows us to automate our portfolios, our equity portfolios, our hedging is automated. If you want to take advantage of it, there's no cost for the equities, and there is a fee for the hedging software, which is part of the class. But your monthly or annual membership fee covers the software in the equity portfolios, and you don't have to go through Trader again. I want to make it clear that both brokers, you don't have to go to either. You can stay right where you're at. There is no requirement, but it's free. Okay, we offer it as part of your membership in the portfolio models that you can have free, free software, which can be auto executed by Trader. And of course, our high school program, Patreon, patreon.com/Bubba Trading. That's patreon.com/Bubba Trading as we get ready for the new school year. And we're going to get back to Bubba's Bottom Line with your host, me, Todd Bubba Horwitz, right now. Welcome back. It is Bubba's Bottom Line for Sunday, June the 27th. Okay. And of course, markets know no bounds. Okay. There is no bell ringing that tells us that the rally is over. We saw a week filled with new highs. Okay. The S&P, the NASDAQ continued to go sharply higher. The Russell and the Dow suddenly are not far behind. And we continue to see markets run and money flowing in. And why not? Okay, where else are you going to go? That's the big question is where else are you going to go? So you will have to assume in these dull, quiet markets, and this is going to be a dull, quiet week. Why? Because, of course, it's July 4th next Sunday. Okay. And, of course, Independence Day, people will be going away. It's already slow. This week should be dramatically slower, which is hard to get slower. But dull markets continue to typically ramp higher, and I would expect new highs to continue. Now, our positions are simply we are along everything but the Dow in the index space. Okay, and I would guess that the Dow will be probably, if we're up tomorrow, Tuesday, we'll probably be reversing. But right now, we're short the Dow and long everything else. Okay. And look, like I said, the market is not going to announce itself. It's not telling you when it's over. It'll be over when it's over. And we'll participate on that side because we don't catch the top and we don't catch the bottom. We want the meat. We want the big piece. Okay. The metals, gold, silver, platinum we don't trade. So let's make that clear. We would be short platinum. If we did, we don't trade it anymore. But gold and silver are in very unique patterns. Okay. And the patterns are simple. They broke hard. Okay. And it really got zipped, a couple of weeks ago. And for the last 6 or 7 days, they've been stuck in a very tight range. Now, typically, that's a blow-off pattern to the downside, but we did not get the V recovery. So now I think you're seeing that more than likely that gold and silver will continue lower and they will break to the downside out of this consolidation. And that basically is because we're short. Okay. And again, we're going with the overall price action. So my assumption is we break to the downside. Anyway, look, it may not. Like I said, it could go up. We don't make long-term predictions. Okay. And we are willing to reverse if we have to. In the meantime, we're short gold and silver. Crude, give the criminals the keys and they're going to stick it to you. And of course, another week, another big week, and another set of new recent highs. In my mind, based on what we're seeing with this energy space, okay, and you can throw natural gas here too, which is also up for the week. There is nothing stopping it because you've got the criminals at OPEC in charge, and they can continue to pound away. You don't think they're trying to get even for all the years that we were fracking on our own? And if we totally give up fracking, it'll be a major disaster. And furthermore, if you believe in the green environment, which listen, obviously I want a clean environment, but China and India, which we are a pimple on their ass, is never going to stop with coal. Okay, they're never going to clean their environment, which is not going to. So our little share, which we are already the cleanest in the world, is not going to help. So to make these drastic changes, put these people out of work, and to shut these companies down is stupid. In the meantime, copper we had a slightly positive week. We're short copper. Listen, it's been very choppy. We've had two big moves, which we profited from, and lots of consolidation, which we didn't. Okay, but we are short right now at the moment. The dollar, it was a little bit weaker Friday, but it's really gained. Last week it was actually down a shade. But after a spike up, you expect to see a little bit of pullback. Remember, no matter what, we expect markets that go straight up to come back a little bit and markets that go straight down to rally a little bit. But the overall trend in the dollar is up. Okay. And that's also confirmed by the downtrend in the rest of the fiat currency system. So we would continue to see and expect the dollar to go higher. And of course, like I said, we are long it. Bonds and notes, we are still long. And of course, bonds got a little whipping on Friday, but overall we're long. I would suggest that the 10-year is very close to reversing. Okay. You are seeing, and it's getting to a point where it may again reverse to the short side, which would confirm, that the Fed is wrong and that they're going to have to raise rates, even though they continue to try to hold their ridiculous line, which is dumb. Okay. But so again, we are still long both bonds and notes. And at the end of the day, okay, again, you have to just focus on the price action and not worry about what your opinion is or what somebody else's opinion or what you read in the chat room. Okay, as you take a look at the grain markets, they got hammered. Okay, now we're short all three across the board. Okay, now again, obviously I prefer to be long at this point, but again, I will wait for the correct signal because in the meantime, they're still going down, but they've been extremely volatile. And all that really means to you and me is that there's more action. And that's good because overall it helps you make more money when you get some real action. Okay. In the meats, the protein complex, hogs were short and they got pounded. Now expect a big rally 1 or 2 days this week. Again, natural expectation. I'll bet that there'll be a limit up move one day this week at least. Okay. But that won't change the pattern. They're still ugly. Okay. fat and feeder cattle continue to grind higher, which is beautiful, a beautiful thing. And we're along both of those. So again, very, very, very good action for us there. And in the softs department, okay, cotton, they're all fairly flat for the week, but our positions are as follows. Cotton, we are long. Okay, coffee, we are short. Sugar, we are short. Cocoa, we are short. And OJ, we are short. Okay, but these things do move quick enough. They can reverse, but right now we're benefiting from the short side and expect probably a little bit more pullback. We see we're at very high prices in a couple of the items, so not a surprise to see some selling. And of course, in the crypto world, look, you've got a lot of political rhetoric that goes on throughout cryptos. Now, again, I don't think you should pay attention to it. Again, if you're getting involved in the space through the actual cryptocurrency, the money that you should invest should only be money that you are willing to lose at all. Okay, like it's going to go to zero tomorrow. Okay, but there are ways to play the cryptos through. There's a few ETFs. There's a few stocks. BitQ. There is Mara and Riot, which are actually in BitQ. There's Coin, which I think is, although it's an expensive stock, so it's obviously not everybody's going to be able to step up and buy a $200 stock. But in the end of the day, I believe the cryptos are real. I believe they're going to be spectacular. I don't own a lot because I missed the boat myself as well, but I do own some, and I continue to buy. Okay, but overall, I do think they're going to be real. I think they're going to be spectacular, and I think they're going to be well maintained and taken care of by the street, especially when we see some more products. And actually, the real key here would be to see some options on the cryptocurrency. So again, never panic. Remember, it's a much more volatile market, than you're used to. Understand it, watch it, and know it can go anywhere fast, but that overall we believe it will go much, much higher before it's all said and done. And of course, this is Bubba's Bottom Line, Todd Bubba Horowitz. And of course, we're going to step out of a break and come back with my commentary right after the break. Bubba's Bottom Line. Well, everybody, again, as always, remember our brokerage partners. Now, again, as I always share with you, I have many different brokers, but the ones I prefer, especially for my members, because I believe they create the best value for you. Again, you don't have to use anybody. You use whoever you want, but these are worth checking out. And of course, for commodities and futures, it's Capital Trading Group, or we call them CTG. And of course, why? Well, because first of all, they got great service. They execute on time. They pick up the phone and talk to you. You call them, they answer the phone. They've got some great managed futures products, and they're the only ones we've authorized for our letter of direction. So at the end of the day, it's the CTG Group or Capital Trading Group. If you want some more info, just reach out to them. info.capitaltradinggroup.com/Bubba. That's info.capitaltradinggroup.com/Bubba. And in equities and options, how can you beat traders $10 a month? I should stop there, $10 a month. But in the meantime, they also have wonderful customer service. And we've got their APIs, which if you want to, and again, this is all up to you, our equity portfolios, the software is part of your membership. The hedging is not, because the hedging is not a subscription model. It is simply you paid a fee, a one-time cost to learn it. But if you want the hedging, then there's a fee for the software. But overall, you can have it auto-executed through Tradier because we've got their APIs. Now, you don't have to. Again, stay where you're at. Nobody is bending your arm and telling you have to change. I don't really care. I just want to give you what I believe is best because I'm looking out for the best interests of my members. And of course, our commodity report written by Andy Heck. Look, if you're trading commodities and not reading technical, shame on you. I mean, that's the quarters are coming out, and I guarantee it'll be like a book. But again, it's very detailed on all the commodities. And our great partnership with Family Farms, who has the same interest that we have, which is just to help farmers because they're too busy doing their job. And of course, our high school program at Patreon, patreon.com/Bubba Trading. That is patreon.com/Bubba Trade. Let's get back to Bubba's Bottom Line and my commentary. Welcome back. It is Bubba's Bottom Line, and of course, every week I give you kind of what I'm thinking and what I think is going on, and I got news for you. And I don't care what side of the aisle you reside on. It really doesn't matter. Look, I don't like this administration, but I have to hope that they continue to do well. I have to hope that they create and don't give away everything before we get some change. they're doing a lot of bad things. But again, all that being said, I don't like it when any party has full power. I didn't like it when the Republicans had full power the first year of Trump or the first 2 years of Trump. I don't like the Democrats having full power. I think that defeats the entire purpose. I think that what we see in government in general, and again, this goes to either party, is they waste a lot of time and a lot of our money on nothing. Okay, there are far too many, investigations which we're paying for. Okay, and of course they continue to take raises. Now, again, how many checks did they miss over COVID? Oh, 0. That's right. So I don't think that they actually really truly operate with our best interests, and I think you should be very careful. And again, this goes for both parties, so I'm not picking on one or the other. I think you should be very careful on what you believe, okay, and make sure that you believe it to be fact, because we have created the younger generation, which has basically only got the liberal side or the socialism or Marxism side of the equation. I mean, it's been going on for a long time. This is not just now. We do not do a good job at educating our children. So just be careful what you wish for. You may not like the end result. This is Bubba's Bottom Line. It is Todd Bubba Horowitz. And of course, as always, I thank you so much for being here. And of course, we'll be back tomorrow with a Bubba's Daily Update. And Tuesday, no update on Wednesday. I'll be traveling back to Las Vegas. In the meantime, have a great weekend, everybody. And as always, I appreciate your time and thanks for listening. And any of your comments, please go ahead and send them in. I can take it. I get a lot of hate mail. It's all good. Have a great weekend, everybody. As always, I thank you.